There is a specific kind of silence that isn't empty. It's full of your questions, your replays of the last conversation, your unspoken hopes. The phone lies dark on the table, but it holds a strange weight in the room. It feels like an unanswered question, and your body, even when your mind is busy, is still listening for the reply. You tell yourself you've stopped waiting. You go about your day. You work, you meet friends, you live your life. But there is a quiet corner of your mind, a space you've kept for him, like an empty chair pulled up to a table, waiting for a guest who may never arrive. You've kept it warm, you've kept it ready, and in the stillness of the night, you find yourself staring at that empty chair, and the silence from him feels less like an absence and more like a verdict. The most painful part is the contradiction. You feel, with an intuition that is almost physical, that he hasn't forgotten you. You sense his thoughts, a flicker of his presence in a song, a place, a memory. And yet, there is nothing. No message, no call, no attempt to cross the distance. And so, you are left in a psychological limbo, holding on to a feeling that his actions refuse to validate. The common advice is to move on, to forget him, to label him as uninterested. But that feels like a betrayal of your own intuition. It doesn't answer the real question that haunts you. If he thinks of me, why is he silent? The answer is uncomfortable, and it has very little to do with how much he likes you, and everything to do with a role you may have unconsciously learned to play. It's the role of the convenient woman. He is silent, not because you are not enough, but because, for a time, you were too much of everything he needed without him ever having to ask. You were too understanding, too available, too good at filling the silence yourself. You made your presence so comfortable and so accessible that it required no effort from him to maintain. And now that you have pulled back, even slightly, he is left in a space he doesn't know how to navigate. His silence is not a sign of his indifference. It is the sound of a system breaking down. The system where your convenience was the primary fuel. This is not a story about his feelings. It is a story about your power and how you unknowingly gave it away by keeping that chair ready for him instead of claiming it for yourself. Let's be honest about what it meant to be the convenient woman. It didn't feel like a weakness at the time. It felt like love. It felt like being a good person. You were the one who understood his busy schedule. You were the one who never made demands. You were the one who would text back instantly, even if he took hours or days. You were the one who rearranged your plans to fit a last-minute invitation. You were emotionally generous. You gave him the benefit of the doubt, always. You constructed elaborate, compassionate stories to explain his inconsistencies. He's stressed at work. He's not a big texter. He has a fear of intimacy, and I need to be patient. You became an expert interpreter of his silence, finding meaning and hope where there was only a void. This role is what the psychologist Carl Jung would call a persona. The persona is the mask we present to the world. It's the collection of traits we believe are acceptable and will earn us love, approval, and connection. For many women, the persona of the good, understanding woman is one of the most powerful. It's a role we are taught from a young age. Be agreeable, be nurturing, don't be difficult, don't have too many needs. Be a safe harbor, a calm port in his storm. And for a while, it works. He appreciates you. He tells you you're different from other women, that you're so easy to be around. He enjoys the comfort, the lack of pressure, the unconditional positive regard you offer. The empty chair you keep for him is always there, and he knows it. He can come and go as he pleases, and the warmth will still be waiting. But here is the psychological trap of the persona. The more you identify with the mask, the more you disconnect from your true self. Behind the mask of the ever-patient, ever-convenient woman, another part of you begins to stir. Jung called this the shadow. The shadow contains all the parts of ourselves that we have repressed or denied because we believe they are unacceptable. In the shadow of the convenient woman lives resentment. It's the quiet frustration that builds with every unanswered text. It's the sting of seeing him online, active, but not with you. In the shadow lives the deep, unmet need to be chosen, to be prioritized, to be pursued. In the shadow lives the anger at your own self-betrayal, the exhaustion from constantly managing his emotional world while neglecting your own. You smile and say, "It's okay," when he cancels, but your shadow clenches its fists. You tell him, "No worries," when he disappears for a week, but your shadow screams, "Where were you?" You became so good at playing the role of the woman who needs nothing that you forgot you were acting, and he, in turn, believed the performance. The paradox is that the very things you did to keep him close are what created the distance. Your constant availability removed all sense of urgency. Why should he make a definitive move? Why should he commit? Why should he even text first? The prize was already won. Your attention, your energy, your emotional support. It was all on tap, a free resource. Humans, by their very nature, do not value what is endlessly and effortlessly available. It is not a conscious cruelty. It is a deep, unconscious psychological principle. Scarcity, even emotional scarcity, creates perceived value. His silence now is the sound of that tap being turned off. You may have stopped chasing, stopped initiating, stopped being so readily available. And his ego, which was so comfortably fed by your convenience, is now experiencing a disruption. He feels the shift. He notices the absence of your energy. But his programming, his habit of interacting with you, is based on him being the passive recipient of your efforts. He doesn't know how to switch roles. He doesn't know how to be the one who initiates, the one who pursues, the one who earns the seat in that chair. So he does nothing. He waits. He thinks. He wonders why it feels different. And his silence becomes a strange, passive power struggle. He is waiting for you to return to your old role, to break the silence, to reassure him that the convenient dynamic is still in place. The question that you must now ask yourself is not, what is he thinking? But, what is his silence forcing me to confront in myself? His silence is a mirror, reflecting back to you the role you were playing. It's an invitation, not to figure him out, but to finally meet the woman who has been hiding behind the mask of convenience. Let's go deeper into the man's psychology in this dynamic, not to excuse him, but to understand the mechanism. When a man encounters a woman who is exceptionally convenient, she often unknowingly activates a specific part of his unconscious. From a Jungian perspective, he projects an aspect of his anima onto her. The anima is the inner feminine archetype within a man's psyche. In its less developed form, it can be associated with the mother figure, a source of unconditional comfort, nourishment, and acceptance that asks for nothing in return. By being the ever-understanding, ever-forgiving presence, you inadvertently step into the role of the psychological mother. You soothe his ego when he is insecure. You provide a safe space for him to retreat to without any demands for accountability or reciprocity. He doesn't have to win you because a mother's love is a given. He doesn't have to court you because a mother's attention is a constant. This is why the connection can feel so deep and comfortable to him, yet so frustrating and lonely for you. He is not relating to you as an equal partner, a mysterious other to be discovered and won. He is relating to the comfort you provide. The empty chair you keep for him isn't a lover's seat, it's a child's refuge. When you withdraw that convenience, when you stop texting first, stop being so available, stop soothing his ego, the projection shatters. The mother has suddenly developed needs of her own. The unconditional source of comfort has become conditional. This is deeply unsettling for his ego. His first reaction is not to step up and meet you on new terms. His first reaction is often confusion, followed by a kind of passive resistance. His silence is this resistance. It's a test. Will she come back? Will the old dynamic resume if I just wait it out? Will she break first and fill this uncomfortable silence? He thinks about you, yes. He misses the comfort. He misses the validation. He feels the void left by your energy. But missing the convenience is not the same as valuing the woman. Thinking of you is not the same as choosing you. This is a critical distinction. You interpret his thoughts as romantic longing, as a sign of deep, unspoken love. And perhaps there are elements of that. But the primary driver of his thoughts is often the disruption of his comfort. He is thinking about the change in the dynamic. He is thinking about the loss of his safe harbor. His ego, accustomed to being the center of the dynamic, is wounded. Pride kicks in. He can't be the one to give in and text first, because that would be an admission that he needs you, an admission that your absence affects him. To his ego, that feels like a loss of power. So he waits, hoping you will restore the balance of power by resuming your role as the pursuer, the initiator, the convenient one. This is why playing games of no contact as a tactic to get him back often fails or leads to a temporary reunion followed by the same old pattern. If you withdraw only as a strategy, your energy is still focused on him. You are still watching the empty chair, waiting for him to sit in it. Your silence is loud with expectation. But when you withdraw, because you have genuinely reached your limit, because you can no longer betray your own needs, something fundamentally changes. Your silence is not a tactic. It is a boundary. It is the sound of you finally taking your own side. You are no longer watching the empty chair. You are turning it around to face a different direction. Or, more powerfully, you are finally sitting in it yourself. This is the moment of true transformation. The moment you stop using your energy to analyze him and start using it to reclaim yourself. This silence is not for him. It is for you. It is the space you need to hear your own voice again, the voice that was drowned out by the noise of your efforts to please him. It is in this silence that you meet your own shadow, the parts of you that are tired of waiting, the parts that are angry, the parts that demand to be seen and valued for who you are, not for what you provide. The moment you see this, the entire dynamic loses its power over you. His silence is no longer a personal rejection. It is simply a symptom of a broken dynamic that was never sustainable for you in the first place. So, what happens when the convenient woman truly disappears? Not as a temporary act, but as a permanent transformation. What happens when the persona cracks and the authentic self emerges? For you, the first stage is often painful. It's a withdrawal, not just from him, but from a part of your identity. You might feel a surge of guilt, a voice in your head whispering that you're being cold or selfish. This is the old programming, the persona fighting for its survival. It has equated your worth with your utility to others. To stop being useful feels, at first, like becoming worthless. You have to sit with this discomfort. You have to endure the phantom limb pain of not checking your phone, of not composing a message in your head, of not filling your day with thoughts of him. This is the detoxification from the drug of external validation. As you persist, something new begins to grow in the space that your obsession with him used to occupy. It is quiet at first. It is the feeling of your own nervous system calming down. The constant, low-grade anxiety of waiting for a response begins to dissipate. You start sleeping better. You start noticing the world around you again, the taste of your coffee, the sunlight on the street, the rhythm of your own breathing. You are reclaiming your energetic sovereignty. Your life force, which was being constantly leaked towards him, towards that empty chair, now flows back into you. You start having ideas. You reconnect with old friends. You remember hobbies you let slide. You are, quite literally, coming back to life. Now, let's look at what happens on his end. He feels this shift on a profound, unconscious level. The silence is no longer a tense, expectant pause. It is a genuine void. The energetic cord that connected you has been cut, not by him, but by you. His ego's initial response, to wait you out, begins to fail. Days, then weeks may pass, and the convenient woman does not return. The psychological mother is gone. He is no longer being mirrored, soothed, or validated. He is left alone with himself. This is where one of two things will happen. If his interest was purely based on convenience and ego validation, he will eventually move on to find another source. He will look for another woman to play the role you have just abandoned. And if this happens, it is a gift. It is the ultimate confirmation that the connection was not about you, the individual, but about the function you served. His departure is your liberation. But if there was a genuine connection beneath the layers of his ego and your persona, something else will begin to stir in him. The loss of your convenience will force him to confront the loss of you. He will start to remember not just how you made him feel, but who you are. The laughter, the conversations, the unique way you see the world. His fear of losing you will begin to outweigh his ego's fear of looking needy. The discomfort of the silence will become greater than the discomfort of taking initiative. This is the point where a man who is genuinely interested and has some degree of emotional maturity will break his own silence. But here is the most important part. The message he sends will not be a casual, low-effort, "Hey." It will have a different energy. It will be a clear attempt to bridge the gap. It will acknowledge the time that has passed. It will be a question, not a statement. He will be testing the waters, not to see if the old dynamic is back, but to see if there is a chance to start a new one. And when, or if, that message arrives, he will not be met by the convenient woman. He will be met by you. A woman who is no longer waiting by the phone. A woman who is no longer living in a state of suspended animation. A woman who has taken her seat at the head of her own table. You are no longer defined by the empty chair you kept for him. You are defined by the life you have built in your own space. You will not be bitter or cold. You will be calm. Your worth is no longer tied to his attention, so you can respond with authentic grace, not with neediness or resentment. You can engage with him from a place of wholeness, not from a place of lack. This is the ultimate shift in power. The power is no longer his to give or withhold with his communication. The power is yours, because your peace is no longer dependent on him. You have broken the spell not by changing him, but by changing yourself. If this journey of reclaiming yourself from the role of convenience resonates with a truth you felt but never named, allow yourself a moment to acknowledge it. You can even write down a single sentence, just for you, that captures this shift. Something as simple as, "My peace is no longer for sale." Let's explore the hidden wound that makes a woman fall into the convenient persona in the first place. This pattern doesn't emerge from nowhere. It is often rooted in a deep, early emotional experience, what Jungian psychology calls a complex. A complex is a cluster of emotionally charged ideas and memories in the personal unconscious. Often, at the heart of the convenient woman is an abandonment complex. This might stem from a childhood where love and attention felt conditional. Perhaps you had to be the good girl, the peacemaker, the one who didn't cause trouble in order to feel secure and loved. You learned early on that your needs were secondary, that being low maintenance was a survival strategy to keep caregivers close. This creates a core belief. To be loved, I must be easy. If I express my needs, I will be abandoned. This belief operates silently, beneath the level of your conscious thoughts, driving your behavior in adult relationships. When you meet a man you are attracted to, this complex is activated. The fear of abandonment floods your system. To keep him from leaving, you instinctively revert to your old survival strategy. You become convenient. You suppress your needs, you silence your desires, you make yourself as agreeable and undemanding as possible. You are unconsciously trying to prove to him, "See, I'm not difficult. I won't be a burden. Please don't leave me." The man, in turn, may have his own corresponding complex. Perhaps he has a fear of engulfment, a terror of being trapped by a woman's needs because of his own unresolved issues with a controlling or needy mother figure. Your convenient persona is a perfect match for his complex. It feels safe to him. You are the cool girl, the one who doesn't pressure him, the one who gives him all the space he needs. Together, your two complexes create a seemingly perfect but ultimately toxic dance. It's a silent contract. I will not have any needs if you will not abandon me. And I will stay close as long as you don't have any needs. This is why his silence is so devastating. It triggers your deepest fear. To your abandonment complex, his silence doesn't just mean he's busy. It means, I am being abandoned because I was not good enough, not convenient enough. It sends you into a panic, and your first instinct is to double down on the strategy. Be even more convenient, more understanding. Send a reassuring text. Let him know you're still there, waiting patiently. Breaking the cycle requires you to do the one thing your complex is terrified of. You must risk abandonment to save yourself. You must choose the possibility of him leaving over the certainty of you abandoning yourself. This means consciously feeling the fear and not acting on it. It means when the urge to text him arises, you sit with it. You breathe through it. You ask yourself, what am I truly afraid of right now? And you listen to the answer from the younger part of you, the inner child who learned that her needs were a threat to her connection. You then have to become your own parent. You have to reassure that part of yourself. I will not abandon you. Your needs are valid. Your feelings are important. We are no longer in a situation where our survival depends on silencing ourselves. This is deep, courageous inner work. It is the path of individuation, the Jungian term for becoming a whole, integrated individual. It involves withdrawing your projection from the man and facing the wound within yourself that he merely illuminated. He is not the cause of the wound, but his behavior has shone a bright light on it. When you begin this work, you start to untangle your self-worth from his validation. You realize that his silence is not a reflection of your value. It is a reflection of his own limitations, his own complexes, his own inability to meet you in a healthy, reciprocal way. And you realize that the empty chair was never really about him. It was the symbol of the empty space inside you, the part of your own life you had put on hold, waiting for someone else to come and fill it. The ultimate act of healing is not to get him to sit in that chair. It is to fill it with your own presence, your own life, your own self-love. It is to finally come home to yourself. The final stage of this transformation is integration. It's the point where you are no longer fighting the old role or striving for a new one. You simply are. The calm is not forced. It is your natural state. You might find that you look back on your time as the convenient woman, not with shame, but with compassion. You understand that she was doing the best she could with the tools she had. She was trying to secure love in the only way she knew how. You can thank her for protecting you, and then gently let her go. Your relationship with silence also changes. It is no longer a source of anxiety. It is a source of peace. The silence of your phone is just silence. It doesn't hold any power over your emotional state. You have learned to find your own music, your own rhythm, in the absence of external noise. If he does reach out from this new place, you will be able to assess the situation with clarity, not desperation. You will be able to see if he has truly changed, or if he is just trying to plug back into his old source of comfort. You will have standards. You will have non-negotiable boundaries, born not of anger, but of self-respect. You will be able to say, "This is what I am available for," and mean it. For instance, you will no longer be available for last-minute, low-effort plans. You will no longer be available for conversations that are one-sided. You will no longer be available to be a placeholder until something better comes along. Your time and energy have become precious to you because you have finally recognized their worth. If he is able to meet you on this new ground, a real, mature relationship has a chance to begin. A relationship between two whole individuals, not one based on the dysfunctional dance of interlocking complexes. And if he is not able to meet you there, you will feel a moment of sadness, perhaps, for the potential that was lost. But it will not break you. It will not send you spiraling back into self-doubt, because your foundation is no longer built on the shifting sands of his approval. It is built on the bedrock of your own self-worth. You will turn your attention back to your own life, not as a consolation prize, but as the main event. The empty chair is gone for good. In its place is a thriving garden, a finished painting, a booked flight, a life fully lived. You did not get the answer you thought you wanted, but you found the answer you truly needed. The question was never, why is he silent? The question was, how can I learn to hear myself? And now, you can. The silence is no longer his, it is yours, and it is filled with peace. My convenience was a role, not my identity. I am now available for what is reciprocal.